Hey guys, so some studies are now showing that what you eat affects how alert you are throughout the day, but also it affects how you're sleeping. So the main question is it your diet that's affecting how you're sleeping, or is it your sleeping patterns that are changing your eating habits? Well, the answer is probably a bit of both. So one thing we know is people who sleep less tend to eat more, and they also eat more unhealthy. So people who sleep less than 7 hours per night are known to eat more fatty foods, they're known to have a less variety of foods, and they're also known to snack more throughout the day. So if you sleep 7 hours or longer, you are less likely to have these cravings. And this could partly be because you're less tired. And there's some interesting research on this. So people who are more tired actually show the same symptoms as people who have ADD or ADHD. And also, people who are more tired tend to be overweight. And the reason is that they keep eating in order to help keep themselves awake. They need some sort of stimulus. But what about the other way around? What about the way our diet affects the way that we sleep? Well, there's actually studies looking at exactly that. So there was one study that was looking at your sleep quality and comparing it to the different foods that you eat. So specifically, this study was looking at both your slow wave sleep and also your REM sleep. So your slow wave sleep is part of your non-REM sleep. So if you don't know, you basically have these different stages in your sleep cycle. It starts with your non-REM sleep and then it transitions to your REM sleep. In your non-REM sleep, you have these different sleep stages. And those sleep stages get deeper and deeper, and it gets harder and harder for you to wake up. And the last stage of this non-REM sleep is called your slow wave sleep. And the reason it's actually called slow wave sleep is actually back in the 1950s, when they were studying the way people sleep, they were actually examining people's brains. So they had these probes hooked up to people's heads, and this is called an EEG, or an electroencephalogram. And they were looking at the brain activity. And they found that in this last stage of this non-REM sleep, they found that their brain activity had these long, slow waves. Basically, these low frequency, high amplitude waves of brain activity. And that's how they made the name slow wave sleep. And also in the 1950s, they discovered REM sleep. So REM sleep is very different than slow wave sleep. Now your brain activity in REM sleep is really similar to someone who's awake. And they also found that people's eyes actually dart back and forth. It's a really crazy activity. And this is thought to be where most of your dreaming occurs when you're sleeping. So both REM sleep and this slow wave sleep are super important for us. They both have a lot of restorative functions. They're both important for memories. So we need both of them. Now this study was comparing two different groups. The first group was eating a low carbohydrate but a high fat diet. And the second group was eating a high carbohydrate but a low fat diet. And what they found was the people that had a high carbohydrate but low fat diet had a significantly lower amount of this slow wave sleep. But the people who had the high fat but low carb diet ended up having a lot more of this slow wave sleep. You know, a lot of people might be looking at this shaking their heads because for a long time, fats were being demonized in our society. And to be honest, it just doesn't make any sense. Fat is an essential food group for us, and we need fat to survive. So people who say that you should cut out fat completely just don't make any sense. So you might be asking, why does this increase in carbs lead to a lower amount of the slow wave sleep? And one explanation could be carbohydrate oxidation, or in other words, the breakdown of your carbohydrates. So carbohydrate oxidation does not happen during slow wave sleep, but it does happen during REM sleep. So people who eat more carbs are gonna end up having a lot less slow wave sleep, but more REM sleep, so they can start breaking down that glucose. So you may think that that's good because you're getting more of this REM sleep. While REM sleep is important, it's also suppressing your slow wave sleep, which is also super important. And also another important part with slow wave sleep is you get growth hormone. Now this is more true in men than in women, but when you cut out this slow wave sleep, which is what happens when you have a high carbohydrate diet, then you're gonna be cutting out a lot of this growth hormone that's gonna be normally secreted. So if you're a developing kid, this is really alarming because you definitely don't wanna stunt your growth by not having enough growth hormone. But growth hormone is also important for adults too, because we need it for our organs and the rest of our body to function normally. So even though this high carbohydrate, low fat diet might seem enticing because you get more of this REM sleep, I would not recommend it because cutting out that slow wave sleep is not going to be good for you. Now, the type of foods that you're eating also matter. So even though you're eating a high fat, low-carb diet, it doesn't mean you're going to get a lot of slow-wave sleep. If you're eating a lot of saturated fats, that's also associated with less slow-wave sleep. So the type of fats that you're eating matter as well. If you want to get more slow-wave sleep, you want to get more of that polyunsaturated or the monounsaturated fats. And also the same thing goes with carbs. The type of carbs that you're eating matter as well. If you're eating a lot of carbs that do not have a lot of fiber in them, then this is going to be terrible for your sleep. So the worst combination is going to be eating a lot of saturated fats and eating a lot of carbs that do not have fiber. If you combine these two things, then you're going to be more likely to wake up multiple times throughout the night, and you're just going to have lower sleep quality. Now, does this mean that you should never be eating saturated fats? Well, no, you should be eating some still, but you definitely want to limit the amount that you're getting. But something that is a great source of fat is fatty fish. So fish are a great source of both vitamin D and those omega-3 fatty acids. And these are both important for regulating our serotonin. And our serotonin is important for our sleep regulation. And studies actually show that a diet with more of these nutrients, for example, like salmon, are associated with more sleep quality and more sleep efficiency. And something else you want to add to your diet are fruits. So 2 fruits in particular you should add are kiwis and tart cherries. Both of these fruits, if you eat them about an hour before you go to bed, have been shown to increase your sleep quality. And they've even improved sleep in people who have sleep disorders. Some other foods that have been shown to have sleep-promoting effects are milk products and also whole grains. Remember I said the type of carbohydrate matters. Whole grains are going to be way better for you. Now, it's not just what you're eating. The timing of these meals matter as well. For one, you want to make sure that you're eating at consistent times. You don't want to have really irregular eating patterns. And also, you don't want to eat too late. If you eat your dinner within an hour of going to bed, that's also going to lower your sleep quality. So what are the biggest things to take away from these studies? One is you don't want to be cutting out fats, but you also want to be eating good fats. And also the same thing with carbs. You don't want to be eating a bunch of refined and other carbs that don't have fiber in them. And also you can try adding those other foods that I mentioned above to your diet and see if that helps. Just like everything else, there's a bunch of other factors that go into your sleep. Like, are you exercising? Are you stressed out? So there's more than one factor than just your diet here. But that being said, your diet still plays a big factor. If you do want other ways to improve your sleep, I did make some other videos on that, so I'm going to link those in the description below, so make sure you check those out. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel below. I will see you in the next video.